Hey, check it out. There's this really cool game that I am really digging these days. It's called Sentinels of the Multiverse. It is a cooperative card game. It means you're all playing together. You get to play superheroes who are beating up on a villain. You get to choose from 10 different superheroes. They all have very, very cool abilities that interact with each other in really interesting ways. You can play this thing lots of different times. There's 4 different villains you can play. There's 4 different environments you can play in, so there's really a lot of repeatability. I'll take a moment here to show you a little bit about how the game is played. Pretty typical setup for the game. We've got the villain here, Grand Warlord Voss, with 90 hit points, and we're going to be fighting in the ruins of Atlantis. And we've got 4 heroes, Bunker, Tachyon, Fanatic, and Legacy, who are taking on the villain. So each of them have their own hit points, and if you can knock down the villain before all of the heroes lose their hit points, then you win the game. The way the game is played starts pretty simple, and then it gets more complex as more cards come out and they change the different kinds of things that the various creatures and heroes and villains can do. So the first thing that happens is you have a villain turn. Without going into all the details of the text, it's pretty straightforward. You look for what the text says happens at the start of a turn, and then you're going to flip a card. You do whatever that card says. This one happens to be an ongoing card, which means that it's going to last beyond the simple turn that you're on. And then you do the things on the cards that happen at the end of turn. And then you rotate through each of your heroes, and you do something fairly similar. The heroes have their set of cards, and as a player, you get to look through the various cards and decide what you want to play. After you've made a decision and played it, and followed anything that happens to say on the card, then you have an opportunity to use one of your powers. If you look closely, each hero has a starting power that they can do, and you can also get cards that have their own powers. And then at the end, you draw a card. And then you go through each hero in turn. They'll each have their turn to play a card, and then do an action, and then draw a card. And then you come up to the environment, and you draw a card from the environment and do whatever it says. Often you end up with multiple environment cards and multiple villain cards, and you have to deal with all of them. And so that's, like I said before, where a lot of the complexity comes in. Okay, now that you've seen how it's played, you've seen that there's a lot of cards. The artwork's cool. There's also really cool stories behind the characters that are in those cards. So I recommend you check it out. You can go to sentinelsofthemultiverse.com. I'll put a link to that below in the doobly-doo. And have a good time. And maybe come to the forums and tell us what you think of it. Thanks.